Hello everyone, welcome back to Inchi Codes. This is part 2 of the Roguelike series, and I just want to get one thing out of the way. I'm going to leave the character flipping towards the mouse, stuff like that, for the last episode if I do end up doing a graphic overhaul to make the game looks nice. But again, all these things are things for you, for your game. If you want them, you can have them. This is just going to be a top-down roguelike with default Unity stuff for now. But again, if I decide to at the end muster up the motivation to actually make sprites and animate those sprites, I will make a proper graphic overhaul that makes the character flip towards the mouse, stuff like that. Something I want to get out of the way too is the guns, well, the weapons aren't going to be visible. It's just going to be something like, oh, he has a pistol, so now he shoots this fast, whatever. Oh, he has an assault rifle, he shoots this fast, whatever. Yeah, you'll see. So in this episode, we're just going to set up the player, how he moves, how he has a weapon, all that stuff. We're going to put just a bullet in the game, and it's going to inherit values from, well, you'll see. To get started, of course, we're going to make a 2D object, square. This is going to be our player, so I'll just call it player. Yeah, we'll give it a rigid body 2D, and instantly we're going to set the gravity scale to 0. We're going to freeze its rotation. Obviously you don't have to do this if you want your character to rotate, but I am going to freeze ours. And yeah, that's the rigid body done. And we're also going to make a box collider, well, add a box collider, leave it how it is, and we're also going to put the player on, let's just leave this all as default. And yeah, that is our player already set up. We're going to close these just so we don't have to see them constantly. We're going to make a script in here, a script folder, call it player controller. This will just be the movement, shooting, all that stuff. Very simple. Give it a second to load. And then I'm also going to make a script called bullet. No, let's call it player bullet, because there'll be other bullets in the game, obviously. Let's say make an enemy that shoots while it's moving to the player, stuff like that. Very simple. And we're going to drag the controller onto the player, and we're also going to make a script called player stats. This will hold all our values, like his health, his armor, health regen, all those things. Very simple. I'm going to drag that on there. And yeah, that is all we're going to do for now. And then, of course, I'm going to open my scripting tool. And yeah, I'll be back when it's done loading. Okay, so my load here is done, my script editor. I'm going to make one more script real quick because I forgot, and this will be called the player aim. You'll see what this is. I did this in the last tutorial, I think. It is just something that points towards the mouse. Not the last tutorial, because that was the first episode, tutorial before that. We're going to make an empty object on a player, call it aim point. Let's call it pivot. Aim pivot, because that's rotation. We're going to make another object called fire point. We get 1 on the x-axis, so it's away from the player a little bit, and this is where bullets are going to come from. Very simple. And on a pivot, of course, we put the player aim on here. And yeah, let's get started with that one first and get it out of the way. We're going to go in here, open scripts. There you go. For anyone curious, I use Rider, JetBlends Rider. It's very good. Yeah. So we have to play aim, we have to play stats. I'm going to move that one there, play aim. We're going to go in here, and we're going to have a public float rotate speed, which I'm going to default to 15, which is very high. An update, so this just is how fast it rotates towards the mouse. If you want something that's more slow, you could do that and have that as a stat instead. So, but yeah, we're just going to leave it as this. And you'll need a vector2 direction equals camera dot main dot screen to world point, and then input mouse positions. Obviously, this is the mouse position minus transform position. So yeah, very simple. It's just finding a direction by subtracting the mouse position with the player's position. And then we need a float, which is an angle, equals math f dot attend2, and then direction.y and direction.x. So obviously there's the x and y axis of this vector2, well, value, not axis. mathf.rat2 dig. I can't really go into detail here and explain all this. I mean, probably could, but it'll take a lot of time. Just, yeah, I'm not someone who wants to explain things that are more complicated too much. All the script is going to do is rotate towards the player's mouse. And yeah, of course, in future, when you learn more, you will understand. I myself am still learning, but yeah. And then we're going to go quaternion.angle axis, which will be angle. So it's taking the angle as value, and vector3.forward. Very simple so far. Transform.rotation. No, not root, rotation. So this is the aim pivots rotation, and then quaternion slurp. Transform.rotation. Rotate speed. Nope. Times time dot delta time. Oh, goodness. Oh, sorry, I forgot one here. So just make another space, comma, and in here type rotation. So yeah, this is just taking two values and then it is telling it how fast it should close that gap, more or less. So now if we head back into Unity, if we click on, let's say, the fire point, then you'll see there on the right, if we press play, as you can see, it's going towards our mouse. If you want to click on the pivot and actually see, there it is. So very simple. Yeah, I think this is fast enough. I might put it on 20, just so it's very snappy. But yeah, there's a smooth way to make your mouse, well, any object, rotate towards the mouse. Anyway, let's continue. And I can't believe that's already 7 minutes in. I just wanted to check the record time. So in a player controller, we're going to have a private rigid body. I'm going to speed things up a little bit, RB, and then we're going to have a public transform fire point. We can make this private, but we'll get into that another time. We'll need a public float speed. Let's just say this is move speed. Actually, this is going to be private. And this is actually going to inherit it from his play stats. So, yeah. Let's just leave this how it is for now. In the play stats, we're going to make a public float speed. Well, move speed stat. And how this is going to work is, oh, sorry about that. We're going to click on the controller again, and we're going to go into make a start method, and we're going to say move speed equals get component. No. We're also going to have a private player stat, player stats, player stats. Simple. So instead of get component, we don't have to do that anymore. We can just go here and say player stats dot get component player stats. So this is just finding the component on the player or whatever object is on and gets the component and has the value there. So I don't have to say get component every single time. So now I just go player stats dot move speed stat. So now you can see we're already inheriting a speed from our stats, and that is the player's movement speed. Very simple so far. And then we're going to go into the update and say rb.velocity. No, we're missing something. We need float move x equals input dot get axis raw horizontal. No, sorry. Oh, why is that not filling in? Well, it should work. Move y equals input dot get axis raw vertical. Okay, yeah, no, it'll work. And then rb.velocity equals new vector 2, sorry. Move x times speed and move speed. And then you can do time.delta time if you want. I don't do it because obviously these games aren't for publishing, so if they work differently on different computers, that doesn't matter because I'm not going to use it. But of course, if you're going to make a game you're going to publish or share friends and stuff, do time the delta time and change the speed value so they work well. Times move speed. No, move speed. So this is obviously just the rigid body's velocity, so how it's moving. The values are getting times by move speed times this. So this is just this input will get axis for us horizontal is either -1, 0, or 1. Same goes to vertical, and this is just if you're holding A, it's going to go left, so -1. If you're not holding anything, it's just going to be 0. If you're holding D, it's going to be 1. So it's just a simple value. This also works for arrow keys of up, down, left, right. We head back into Unity, and let's click on our player. As you can see, his move speed. I didn't make that public. Sorry. His move speed. I'll make it public just to quickly show what it is. Public. So now we can see it. So his move speed, as you can see, is 0. If we change this on his player stats to 5 and we press play, oh, sorry, I forgot. This is what happens when I get a little mixed up of stuff. RB equals get component rigid body 2D. Sorry about that. Done. And then this should be equals, not dot. It's equals. There we go. This is how it's meant to look. I'm very sorry. I didn't mean for that to happen. I'm gonna head back into here, and if you press play, as you can see, the movement speed is equals to, it's 0 and then it turns into 5. So very simple. Now we can move around. Also, if your things ever look a little jittery, all you have to do is you go into your rigid body and you change this, the interplay, to interplay. And now if you press play, it'll be a little bit smoother. This depends on different systems, but that's how it works for me. So yeah, now you can see we have a player moving around, we have the pivot moving around, and the fire point is assigned. Now we're going to change one thing quickly, and that is this. Any stat things we are doing should be in its own function because it's going to have to be reset every time we change something. So let's say if we like select an upgrade or something, we're going to have to change it. So actually I won't make this here. No, I'll make it here. So we'll make a public void refresh stats, and this will just load everything onto the player. And we're going to take this, put this in here, and we're going to say refresh stats. Again, the reason for this is, let's say you pick an upgrade. Obviously, this isn't going to affect anything unless if you refresh the stats, because it inherits the stats through here. Simple. But yeah, so we're going to need some more stats, and this will be public float max health, and on the player we're going to have a float public float speed. Very simple. Oh no, not speed, health. And again, this is just going to be, sorry. We'll need a public float max health. This will be called stat, and the max health equals player stats dot max health stat. And in the start, we will do health equals max health. So this is just when you start the game, the player's health is going to equal max health, and the max health is going to equal, after it's done refreshing, the player's max health is going to equal his stats max health. Yeah, you just want this because obviously if you say health equals max health, he's going to reset to full health every time, and his player will just flick infinite healing. Yeah, let's finish up here. I'm going to get this done. We're going to go into the bullet, and we're going to have a private rigid body 2D RB. We're going to have a public float bullet speed, have start, and that'll be RB equals get component rigid body 2D, and we will do RB.velocity equals transform.right times speed. So this is just so when it starts, it goes in whatever direction it's facing to the right. That's what the transform.right is. So it'll just fling itself in that direction. And then we will do a on trigger enter 2D. For now, just destroy. So if it touches anything, it's going to destroy itself. But also in the start, we're going to have destroy game object after, let's say, 2 seconds. So the bullet will destroy it after 2 seconds. Very simple. Let's make it more fancy. Let's say you want something like bullet lifetime. And now you have a stat that we can change bullet lifetime. But yeah, we'll get into all that in the next episode. For now, this is how it's going to be. Let's quickly get in here and make this bullet. So we're going to make a empty, well, not an empty, we're going to make a, let's just say a circle. Who cares? This will be the bullet. Let's x-axis, leave it at, no, let's make it 0.5, and y-axis 0.25, and 0.5. So it'll be like a little squashed circle. Let's put our player back at 0, 0. And the bullet, let's just make it like a nice yellowish color. We're going to give it the bullet script. Let's just make this 5 and 2, and let's give a box collider 2D and make that a trigger. And let's give it a rigid body 2D, and of course put that back on 0, template. And yeah, that's the bullet done. We're going to take this bullet, we're going to put it in the prefabs folder, which, where is it? Here it is. Friendlies, delete it. I'm going to go into our player controller and make a public transform bullet prefab. And in the update, we're going to have, let's make a separate function, call it public void shoot. And for now, it's just going to be very simple. If input get mouse button down, not access, 0, so that's left click, then shoot, and this will just be instantiate bullet prefab 5-point dot rotation and 5-point dot position. Sorry, that's the wrong way around. Position and rotation. Nope, rotation. Nope, rotation. Sorry. So yeah, just a very simple way of shooting for now. And if I click play, well, no, we need to drag the bullet into the player's bullet prefab. And now if we press play, we shoot a little bullet. Obviously, if we move into this bullet, it destroys itself. And the way we're going to fix that is the bullet will be going onto a layer. Call it player. So the bullet, we're going to put player layer, and player will go on the player layer. Yes, change children, and then we're going to go into edit, project settings, physics 2D, and we're going to turn off collision between the player and the player. So the player will no longer collide with itself. So now, as you can see, we can move through these bullets without them destroying themselves. And as you can see on the right here, the bullets do destroy themselves after 2 seconds. So that's the start of our game. It's going to get a lot more complicated very fast, but for now, that's how things work. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and sorry that is a little bit of a longer video, and I'll catch you in the next one.